All right, cool. So today's subject is going to be a very good one. It's going to be about investment, and we have a great person here to talk about that, which is Kavita Gupta. So let me introduce myself first. So my name is Romain Caillet. I'm with Evervision. We build on Arweave. We're a Web3 infrastructure provider, but we don't care about that today. We're going to talk about investment. So before we start, let's introduce Kavita a little bit. So she's the founder of Delta Blockchain Fund, an early blockchain infra fund with over 120 million. She has over 18 years of experience via the World Bank, IFC, Eric Schmidt family, office, et cetera, et cetera. She started one of the first blockchain early stage funds, Consensus Ventures, invested in first checks and sensors, defining companies like Polygon, Starkware, SoRare, and I think there's a whole bunch. So welcome.
For having me.
Perfect. So let's start off.
Did you notice that the audio system is very interesting here, especially? I think we need some distance.
We need. Okay,
No.
let me take a little righty here.
That's fine.
Okay, so let's dive right into it. So investments. To you, what is the difference between investing in a startup today to investing in a startup like last year or 2 years ago? What is the biggest thing for you?
I think the market is very different. We saw the last bull cycle in 21, and so I would say last year and a year before. Right till Luna crashed, the market was really, really bull. So we were looking at investing where the market was overpriced. There was a lot of token sales happening, raising a lot of money, so the retail was good. But then we suddenly saw incredible founders having two type of dilemmas. First, people who raised at high valuation but didn't really close their round, or close their round thinking that they're only going to raise for an year or two, are in a position where their valuations have already been set up high, but nobody's ready to invest anymore at those numbers. And they don't want to do a down round, but the extension round is creating trouble for them. The second issue which we are facing is the valuations have gone down by 70 to 80% for the new projects. So just an year back in this space, even if you have an idea and you just felt like, I have this idea, I have an incredible background, I'm a first or second time entrepreneur, you can go into the market and raise at $30 million valuation or so. And we have reached a point where even a $10 to $12 million valuation for this exactly the same pitch deck is lucky to have.
So that's an interesting comment. And to that I say, do you think we have better quality projects now than a year ago? Or do you think they're, I guess, the same quality? I say this because I recently went to ETH Denver, and the amount of devs that were talking about actual protocols and actual tech was insane, right? To compare to the year before, where it's really more about money than anything. So I want to know your take on that.
So I think the fascinating part is the builders, for the first time since the whole last 3 cycles of bear market, this is the first time there are still huge amount of builders who are continuously building. So that's great as a VC, because you're still getting amazing amount of deal flow. But the quality, it's not like suddenly really good projects have come into the space because it's a bear market. There's nothing like that. What has happened is a lot of fluff has disappeared. And, but a lot of new builders are still building. So somehow deal flow is consistent with respect to number, but the valuations have gone down significantly.
Okay, so this leads on to another question I have about that. Okay, so you say the quality doesn't really, I guess, hasn't really gone down. For you, what do you look for today? You know, I guess last year it was easier for you to make investments. Today, what is something that really, you know, gets you going about a project?
I think in the bull cycle, we see a lot of applications. We see, like last summer was all about DeFi, right? We call it a DeFi summer. And during that DeFi summer, we saw a lot of money going into a lot of experimental DeFi. And then we saw a big boom of NFTs. And when we saw a big boom of NFTs, we started seeing a lot of experiments there. The one thing which we consistently has been not paying attention to, and I think something you will relate to because as your project is also on a big infrastructure platform, is infrastructure is still missing for the whole blockchain stack. We are focusing in a bull market a lot of application layer because they are sexy and they're like easy to sell and easy to get adoption on. What we forget is decentralized identity, databases, cross-chain analytics, reportings, monitoring tools, security, like all those different stacks are absolutely not there. So I'm very excited with the bear market to focus a lot on those. So I feel like there are three big sectors right now. One is MEV. So suddenly you have over 40, 50 MEV projects coming into the space. Second is optimization of rollups and even L2. So you have a lot of zero gas execution layers which are coming into the space. And then the third one is decentralized staking. And I think decentralized staking emerging into DeFi staking, these three are going to be big three infrastructure hooks which are going to completely change the ecosystem.
So in the middle, you said NFTs, right? So obviously everyone here knows that NFTs were a very, very big thing. What's your future? What's your take on the future of NFTs?
It's a twofold, I would say, an idea to look at. If NFT is going to continue to be used as a quick in, quick out JPEG platform, then there are traders for that who, instead of using DeFi trading, are doing NFT trading. But if we actually going to see NFT as an asset class, as a collateral class, there's a lot of infrastructure projects on NFT-Fi which are coming out. And I think those NFT-Fi projects are going to create the next layer value of NFTs. The second part of NFTs, which could be super interesting, is how are you going to create hardware ecosystem, whether this is for NFT display, whether this is for if I'm buying a $2 million NFT like Beeple's NFT, and if it's a collectible, how are you going to display it and have the genuineness to have a social acceptance behavior or a social show-off behavior to have that, knowing that somebody can just right-click it, copy-paste it, and have it at their home too, but yours is different. I think once we have solved those two problems or those two particular sectors and develop them, I see NFT coming back in a big way.
Yeah, yeah, NFTs, I guess, you know, when it derailed with all the 10,000s and everything, it kind of ruined the whole NFT experience for me, at least, right? NFT was exactly what you were saying. Now, just in parentheses, if anyone does have a question here, you definitely can ask. I will come up to you and we'll ask her a question. That's just in case. Now, back to a more investment type question. So obviously we talked about before and after. How about in the future? How will this bear market change investments for the future?
I think it's a very interesting time to be a founder and to be a VC. If I look at pragmatically, yes, valuations are low, but it also takes away the pressure of actually delivering in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. You have a lot of talent available for cheaper prices than the bull market. You have a lot of patience to deliver your tokens. Actually spend time in research if you're doing tokens. If you're building an equity company, then really on the idea of the first customer. If I would be a founder, which I've been in the past, I enjoy bearish market to start a company, because if you start with the 10, 12, 15, $20 million valuation, you're only going to go up. You're not thinking about down round. You're either going to completely disappear or you're going to go up. You also then have a 1 year, 1.5 year to really slowly build, hire the best talent. Every company you think could be your potential partner or customer don't have craziness of money, so they are available to talk to you. So people are more humble, people are more available, talent is more available, money is tight, but it's good, smart, sustainable money.
And you know what? That's actually a good point. How many devs here, or how many founders are in here? Not many. Oh, maybe there's one. So maybe for her, like how would one approach a VC, right? The right way. What would they need to do in order for you to want to listen or to like pique your interest? What are things like that?
So I want to take away one big taboo for founders, which I also had back in 2013 when I started my company. The shyness or thinking that I am the one who need a VC. Actually, that's not true. The VC equally and morely actually wants a good founder. So that's just one personal thing which I've realized a lot of time when founders come. There is a sort of uneasiness that the founder is seeking VC. VCs are equally seeking good founders. So the good equation is, whomsoever you like if I would start a company, I would first make a list of 30 to 40 VCs whom I strategically think are good for my company. And then I have a backup 20 to 30 list, because at the end of the day, I also need to survive. If I already know people, having a hot connection to VC always helps, because a lot of VCs talk to each other. A lot of our founders send us deals. So if any of my portfolio company founder is sending me a deal, definitely the first call has to happen with the new founder. If any of our co-investing VC send us, we 100% go through the deck. Otherwise, wherever you find them, in conferences, in the networking events, I get 2 of my best deals in my life, I actually got through Twitter messages. And like, you will be very, very surprised. And now the company is defunct, but I got into BlockFi at $5 million valuation, and I got out at $5 billion valuation. And I got that deck on Twitter, on my personal messages. So VCs also, we may not come back that fast when we get LinkedIn or Twitter messages, but if we have a deck, it definitely goes through our team to go through it. And if we have an interest, we will find that founder wherever we have to find.
That's good to know. So yeah, just take your chances. Message everyone on anything, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. You just do it. But that's so we talked about how devs or how founders can kind of get your attention. But why would a founder want to choose you? What does a founder need to look at in a VC in order for them to choose that particular VC?
Very, very good question. So at least I'll first speak for Delta, and then I'm very happy to talk about generally, like if I would be choosing VC, what are the things to look at? Or let me do the other way. So whatever sector you are making, today the blockchain space is big enough to have sector-specific funds, because that gives you a lot of credibility in their partnerships. So for an example, if I'm building a DeFi protocol, who's going to provide me security audits? Who's going to provide me product market fit? Who's going to provide me liquidity for this DEX? Who's going to give me partnership with the top companies with whom I want to sit, whether it's layer 2 solutions, layer 1 solutions, with chains at the senior level to launch the product. So there are like a lot of different things. Even when we talk to founders, we sometimes ask them, why do you want us to lead your round or want us to be part of your round? Because we want to see if they have done their homework or not by that point, especially after talking to us once or twice. For Delta, I started my investment journey. I'm a solo GP for Delta. Before this, I started Consensus Ventures, Tachyon. I also teach at Stanford Beyond Bitcoin class. I got into the space in 13. I was fortunate enough to be first check in companies like Starkware, Polygon, Quantstamp, Sorare, OpenSea, Coinbase through funds, FTX, etc. So we know most of the top founders directly. They are friends, they are investor in the funds, they are advisor to the fund. So we provide smart contract auditing priorities at discounted rates. We provide deep tech diligence. We connect you with any L1 and L2s you want in the space. We connect you with the best product market fit from Web2 spaces, institutional custodies, getting your account on Coinbase or anywhere within a week. So those are just some type of direct help which our team works with. But we also help you think through your round and introduce you to some of the most credible VCs, because most of them have started literally in front of us and with us. So.
That's a perfect explanation. I really enjoyed that one. So in terms of VCs, and this is a personal question actually, can you invest in anywhere basically, or is there like, since you live in America, are you not allowed to invest in certain countries, et cetera, et cetera? That's a personal question of mine.
We invest globally, and in, of course, today's regulatory environment, so far, like until and unless somebody is registering their company on a very random island, which our lawyers have like no idea of what's going to happen if they just disappear, we don't. But it's very standard and very normal to know someone registering in BVI or Bahamas or Singapore, Dubai. Like there are a bunch of jurisdictions which are common jurisdiction if you are doing or thinking about doing a token. And if it's an equity company, I think there are, again, preferred jurisdictions. So far we haven't come across that problem. I'm sure there are some islands which are banned, but we have not seen that so far. The thing which we think through regulatory is if there is a token, there's a token warrant, and we invest in pre-seed and seed. So by that time, founders have not really thought through how that token design is going to work. We do add an extra point saying that if we are leading the round or significant exposure to the tokens, our legal team has to approve the usage of that token as per the SEC rule. Otherwise, we cannot hold tokens.
Got you. So are you also wary of that type of stuff, like where the companies are based or not?
I mean, founders are very smart, most of the founders, and we usually ask them, okay, for an example, recently we closed with a company who are registered out of Germany, and that's not a very tax efficient place to register a company, first of all, even for equity. And then they wanted to do token warrants, which is very gray area in Germany. So we asked them straightforward. We said, where are you planning to do your token foundation? And are you going to move your company to Lisbon at certain point, because that seemed like a thing. They did, so we put a clause that if they moved, it has to be exactly the same structure. Because in 2016-17 craziness, a lot of people raised money on the same company 3 times at 3 different jurisdictions.
What? That's crazy. Okay, so I got into the crypto space around like, 2017, but I was a day trader, so I didn't really go through that type of stuff. I had a great one here. I lost my train of thought. Wait, give me one little second. I had a tip of the tongue. Okay, so you talked about, right now you just talked about, using 3 different companies and whatnot. That doesn't happen anymore today, obviously. Do founders try to actually find ways to still do that or not? I mean, I'm kind of curious now that you were talking about it.
It's a human behavior, right? So you can have you can have weird VCs and you can have weird founders, right? So there has been a lot of fraud which has happened in various different bull cycles in the past. There has been a lot of very interesting frauds, and this is not even the worst fraud which I'm telling you. I mean, there has been token sales and the website has disappeared and have a 404 error in 2 days after a public sale. But those were the early days, and you just learn from it. And also VCs now know what other regulatory or legal diligence to do on the founders.
Yeah, of course. That's obviously it's the due diligence is very important. And now, final question: what are your or what is your favorite area to invest in right now? What do you think is the thing that kind of gets you, or what's the sexiest thing for you right now? That's the final question.
My personal solution, which I have been actually trying to find a really good product from a very long time. There are 1 or 2 people who are building somewhere around it, but they are at the very early stage, so I haven't seen the product. Is a decentralized identity from the core of infrastructure, starting from your data storage to the application as an individual vertical. What I've seen, what we do have right now are very fractured identity. So you have social identity like Lens protocol, you have payment identity like ENS for your wallets or Spruce or other things, but you really don't have an identity on ZK or in a way with privacy, which if I walk into a hotel and instead of giving my identity card or my passport, which has a lot more information than what a hotel booking guy needs, I just give them a verified government identity, which is also connected to whatever the payment system I want to do, and use it back on chain for any settlement too. And I think going back to the infrastructure, until and unless we don't have those basic tenets, but without which none of the identity worked, right? There is no civilization which started without a name of a person, giving an identity, but we now have a whole Web3 world without an identity. So that will always remain the most sexiest topic for me.
My mic broke, I guess. But that's exactly, I agree with that. It makes it, I guess, more fun, right? In order, like, you actually have an identity, and this is why the NFTs kind of also had, at least for me, kind of like having your own little identity within an NFT. I think that was pretty fun. But hey, thank you so much for this talk. I had a blasty blast. Hope everyone enjoyed, and catch you soon. If you have any questions, maybe your founder, you can definitely find her. And would you like to give any, maybe your Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, so they can DM you?
No, Telegram is the best because that's so easy and fast today. My Telegram ID is KAVZG. And if you don't find me here, just find me here and I'll just give you my QR code. But thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Thank you. Have a good one.